Manchester United have just beaten Real Betis 4-1 to get a pretty commanding lead in this round of 16 tie. Look, it was a great game and decent performance to bounce back from the 7-0 drubbing against Liverpool at the weekend, and going into next week with a 3-goal lead is pretty good for Manchester United. But I'm still not happy with the performance overall because we could have scored 6 or 7 in this game and conceded as many as 3 or 4 goals. And as good as we played in the second half, we were equally poor in the first half, and a better team puts us to the sword for some of the mistakes we made in the first half. I remember saying after the West Ham 3-1 win in the FA Cup that we didn't really deserve to win that game, and that a better team would have finished us off in the first half with Antonio missing all those chances, if you remember. And many people in the comments after that game were upset, saying, don't say we didn't deserve to win that game, we were good in the second half, etc, etc. Now, I think we were better in this game than we were against West Ham, and we did deserve the win. But this was our strongest 11, whereas in that game we were pretty much starting with our second string 11 with Maguire, Lindelof, Garnacho, McTominay, Malacia all starting. So what's my point? My point is that we as a team have a long way to go in becoming the team that we want to be. We made far too many mistakes today, and a team that's third in the league and playing in all 4 competitions just shouldn't be making those mistakes. And in this video, I'm going to highlight the mistakes that I saw, and hopefully by the end, you'll agree with my thoughts here. As always, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to never miss out on content just like this. Now, probably to most people's surprise, Ten Hag went with an unchanged starting 11 from the loss against Liverpool. And I have to give him massive credit for doing this. You know, after the 4-0 loss to Brentford at the beginning of the season, you could tell that the intensity was missing from the team, and United were miles off the pace compared to Brentford and Brighton in the game before that. So making them run 13.8 kilometers after that game was probably warranted. After the Liverpool game, if it was up to me, I would make the players run something like 700 kilometers or something crazy, but Ten Hag just put an arm around their shoulders to lift up their spirits. And because they were already deflated enough after getting battered at Anfield, Ten Hag made the right call by giving them a chance to win back their confidence immediately in the next game. And by the way, this is also why I should never be manager of Manchester United, because I would just start voiding contracts after defeats like that and drop Fred off at the airport with a prepaid ticket to Brazil. Anyways, back to our talking point, which is how United set up in possession today. Ten Hag actually made some tactical adjustments to the preferred system we've seen so far this season. Starting in a 4-2-3-1, United played in a 3-1-3-3 that looked like this. In this shape, Weghorst was playing as the 9, Rashford off the left, and Antony off the right. And Fernandes was actually playing as an 8 for most of this game, next to Fred and Luke Shaw in behind the front 3. And I think Ten Hag realized that United needed a bit more support in midfield to keep the pressure on Betis when we were in possession. And normally, Bruno plays in the hole in behind the front 3 in this area, in front of the 3 or 4 midfielders in this line behind him. And this usually gives him a license to operate more on the wings and purely in an attacking sense. But today, he played more on the inside spaces on both sides and centrally to build up the play and influence the play from a little deeper. You even saw him dropping deep in behind Casemiro to pick up the ball at times to influence the play. And I think this was a great tactic from Ten Hag that actually made a big difference to how we played today. And in behind these 3 were Casemiro, who was holding by himself for the most part, but Dalot and Shaw were joining in with him to build up the play when we were really putting the pressure on Betis at times. And just so you guys know, Betis were almost playing a 5-3-1-1 out of possession, with Rodriguez dropping in between the 2 center backs and the 2 wingers in Enrique and Juanmi dropping narrow and compact next to Carvalho in midfield, with Joaquin and Perez as the only outballs. So let's move on to United's first half performance, starting with the Marcus Rashford opener. You guys have obviously seen the Rashford goal. It was a great finish to put us up 1-0 in the 6th minute. But did you know that United almost conceded right before that because of a stupid mistake at the back? Let's take a look. We start with Claudio Bravo taking a goal kick up the pitch, and we see Dalot tussling with the Betis winger here in order to win the duel to stop him from getting in behind. And fortunately for United, he wins the duel and is ready to pass it back to De Gea. But for some inexplicable reason, he lobs it back to De Gea at head height, as you can see here. And De Gea, for yet another inexplicable reason, heads it straight back to the Betis player near him instead of playing it out for a corner. Now, Betis have 2 in support, but the ball is fired straight across the box for Ayoze Perez, and fortunately Martinez wins the first duel, but the danger isn't clear. He has to win the header again, but that header falls straight to Joaquin, and fortunately Joaquin misses his kick, and Fred is able to clear it out to Antony over here. That was honestly calamitous defending and decision making at the back. I should have had the Benny Hill theme song playing in the background, honestly. When you are under pressure and unsure of where the opposition is and where your teammates are, just play the ball out of play. Dalot should have put it out for a throw, and De Gea should have put it out for a corner. But they both made bad decisions that almost cost United a goal in the first 5 minutes. But as they say, fortune favors the brave, and Antony wins a free kick in this area that leads to the Rashford goal, and we'll analyze that next. So Casemiro takes a quick free kick towards Rashford in this area, and as we play it along, Rashford sprays a quick pass out to Bruno on the right hand side, where United are basically 3v3 against the back line. As we play forward, because the Betis left back is inside Antony in this area, he waves on to Bruno to keep running into this space ahead of him. As Bruno does that and gets to the edge of the box, let's pause here and analyze what's on Bruno's mind. Rashford and Antony are not in good areas to have an impact on the play, and he sees Weghorst running on the wrong side of the Betis right back to get into the box here. So Bruno, with the quality that he has, is trying to find Weghorst inside the box in this area and curl a ball beyond the 3 Betis defenders that we see here. As we play it, Bruno's cross is actually crap and it doesn't beat the second man here, and that guy gets a touch which falls straight to Rashford, unfortunately. So Rashford capitalizes on this touch and takes a great first touch out of his foot and fires a ball into the top of the net past Bravo, and Bravo has no chance. So why am I showing you guys this goal? It's because a pure moment of individual brilliance from a transitional counter-attacking situation puts United 1-0 up inside 6 minutes. And this is exactly what Ten Hag was trying to achieve at Anfield at the weekend. But we weren't really able to produce that quality in the final third from these transition moments. If you remember, Luke Shaw had a cross to the center of the goal in this area for Rashford that he tried to take on first time but didn't really get enough power on it. And Bruno, of course, had that header across Alisson's goal that almost went in the net. The point is, Ten Hag knows that this team is not good enough yet to play the high possession style of football where you pin the opposition in their own half by taking really good care of the ball. At present, United just lose the ball in possession way too often, which leads to high turnovers, and we have some more clips from the first half to show you examples of this. But Ten Hag also knows that we have players like Fred, Casemiro, Martinez, and Varane who can force our opponents into turnovers, which allows us to score goals from counterattacks. So basically, Ten Hag has been going into big games like Barcelona, Newcastle, and even today in battle mode, hoping that United will force more turnovers than our opponents will force on us. Only time will tell how long it'll take this team to get better in possession and play the final version of football that Ten Hag actually wants to play. Next, let's look at the build-up to the Betis goal and analyze the mistakes made by United. We start with a Betis throw-in in this area. Casemiro intercepted, plays it to Rashford, who plays it to Bruno ahead of him. And Bruno plays it straight back to Casemiro, who sees Fred in space ahead of him in this area here, and he hopes to start a counterattack with a first-time pass. But the pass from Casemiro doesn't have enough power or the correct flight, which makes it really easy for Betis to intercept it in this area. And now United have 5 players that have overloaded the ball side and have left a lot of space on the left-hand side. And the ball goes out to Joaquin, I think, and he recognizes this space and is ready to play a ball out to the winger on the left-hand side, which is Wanmi. And the United players recognize this and immediately start to move towards the left-hand side to cover up for the space that they've left initially. Wanmi takes his first touch and knows that United have overcorrected, so he drives infield and plays a ball over the top to Ayoze Perez, who's in acres of space at the edge of the box on the right-hand side now. So Perez takes the first touch out of his feet and scores from that, and Luke Shaw probably here should be closing down Perez a little bit more to make it harder for him, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But like I mentioned in my previous segment, United just don't take care of the ball. Casemiro, in my opinion, is to blame for this goal, and of course that mistake puts Luke Shaw in a position to make another defensive mistake, which puts us level in the 32nd minute. And we're not done here, because we have at least 2 more situations in the first half where United made some stupid passes from which we could have conceded again. In this clip, we start with Varane contesting an aerial duel with a Betis midfielder in this area. Varane actually wins the header and the loose ball heads towards United's right-hand side, which Antony chases down. As Antony gets to the ball near the touchline, he sees Dalot behind him and gets ready to play what appears to be a safe pass back to Dalot. But he actually leaves it well short of Dalot and the Betis winger picks it up, and United are 3v4 at the back. Fortunately, Dalot ends up winning the first tackle here and the second one against this guy here and puts the ball out of play. Stupid errors like that are going to cost United goals till the end of the season, so we have to watch out for stuff like this. In our final clip of the first half, we have Dalot taking a throw-in towards Varane in the 43rd minute. As Varane gets the ball, we have Dalot and Martinez ahead of him who he can't really pass to, and De Gea and Bruno square of him who are potential passing options. He plays it back to De Gea, who has Bruno, Martinez, and Dalot in areas near him as potential passing options, but none of them are actually good passes. Bruno can get closed out by these two, and the passing angle to Martinez and Dalot can be cut off by Wanmi here. But for some reason, De Gea plays the ball straight to Wanmi in this area, who is nowhere near Martinez or Dalot, who's actually hidden behind this sign here. I have no idea why he doesn't just boot the ball up the pitch, because that is always an option. So Wanmi gets on the ball and lays it off to the player ahead of him and makes a run to the edge of the box himself, hoping to get it back. And United are absolutely at 6s and 9s here, as all this guy needs to do is cut it across the box for this guy to tap it in. But Bruno puts a heroic tackle in to save the ball from going to that player, but even that deflection gets off the far post and comes out. And United escape narrowly, going down 2-0 down in the first half. With the pass from Dalot before the Rashford goal, the pass from Antony to Dalot, and this pass from De Gea, we should have and could have conceded 3 more goals in the first half. If we were playing a team like Liverpool again today, we're probably 4-1 down in the first half. If we want to get into the top 4 and win 2 more trophies like all United fans expect, we have to stop giving the ball away like that. I'm okay with giving up chances and conceding goals when the opposition just plays world-class football and cuts through you, but to concede like that really makes me want to pull my hair out. I really hope the players can improve on the ball till the rest of the season. Now, before I touch on the second half performance, I have a question for you guys. Why do you think Dalot came off at halftime? Was it tactical or was it injury related? Because other than that back pass to De Gea in the 5th minute, I thought he had a decent game, and Wan-Bissaka didn't really do much better in the second half. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Get in the comments below. Now, in the second half, Antony scored in the 52nd minute with a great finish into the top corner, and Bruno scored from a free header in the box thanks to Martinez and Varane blocking off the 2 defenders that could have contested Bruno Fernandes. And obviously, we came out with a point to prove in the second half, and it was clear to see. But there were 2 players that stood out to me in that second half. One of them really angered me, and one I was pleasantly surprised by. Of course, the 2 players are Pellistri and Antony, and you can probably guess which is which. Antony is always looking to cut inside and shoot, man. He is so greedy. Honestly, one way to look at his performance today was that he could have had a hat-trick. Outside of the goal he scored, the chip over Bravo, and the pass from Weghorst that Bravo ended up saving. But what I saw was a greedy player who should have had probably 2 goals and even 2 assists. About a month ago, I analyzed Antony's shooting in detail by looking at his last 30 shots. Link in the description below, by the way. And what I saw really worried me. He cuts in to shoot about 90% of the time and always takes low percentage shots, which means his goals, like the one he scored today, have very low XG numbers. And watching his performance today made me realize that not only does he shoot from bad areas instead of getting into better ones before shooting, but he prefers to shoot instead of passing no matter what. I saw Ten Hag's reaction to Antony's chip over Bravo, where he had 3 teammates he could have squared it to, and I'm telling you, if Ten Hag had any hair left, he would have pulled it all out. Someone explained to me how Antony survived 2 years under Erik Ten Hag at Ajax. Someone please explain, because I just don't get it. For his sake and this team's sake, I really hope Antony sorts this out, because he won't last too many seasons at United being this selfish. And I know people are going to say, what about Rashford? He was this selfish and look at him now. Yeah, well, we were all equally frustrated with Rashford as well, and now he makes better decisions on the ball. Moving on to Pellistri. Guys, I'm so impressed with this lad. In the first minute of coming on the pitch, he did every single thing that I've been begging Antony to do in the last few months. He made a run on the outside and 2 Betis defenders to get all the way to the touchline and cut the ball back to the edge of the 6-yard box. I mean, I have 2 questions for you guys. Have you ever seen Antony do something like that? And do you ever expect Antony to do that in the future? I think the answers to both of these questions is unfortunately a big No. I don't know about you guys, but I want to see Pellistri get some minutes now. He can't just keep getting ignored on the bench. I think he's shown enough. And if that's for Antony, I'm okay, because you have to deal with competition at this club. And I want you guys to understand why I'm being so harsh on Antony. It's because I really believe in his potential. He has all of the technical abilities to be a great winger for our club. And the mistakes he's making right now are just silly in relation to decision making that are relatively easy to correct. So I will keep being harsh on him as long as he keeps playing like he's playing right now. And by the way, Bruno was my man of the match, hands down. I'm constantly amazed by his influence on this team and how people scapegoat this man whenever something goes wrong. I just don't understand. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was upset by his on-the-pitch performance last week, but people were going on about his antics and calling for his captaincy and so on. Just stop it, man. He's a very important player for United, and there are plenty of other areas that you can focus on that are wrong at this club. So let's focus on them and leave Bruno alone. Get in the comments below with your man of the match, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.